If you've ever plugged a scanner into a newer Volkswagen, Audi, Skoda, or Seat, and suddenly felt like the car was politely but firmly saying, "Access denied," you're not alone. Over the last few years, VAG vehicles have quietly added a powerful security layer that completely changed how diagnostics, coding, and adaptations work. And if you don't understand the difference between SFD1 and SFD2, you can lose hours in the workshop chasing a problem that isn't even a fault. Welcome back to Baabji Motors. I'm Hussein, and on this channel we break down real workshop problems, real diagnostic tools, and real-world solutions without marketing fluff. If you work on VG cars or plan to in the future, this video will save you time, money, and a lot of frustration. Take a second to like and subscribe so you don't miss future updates, because VAG security is evolving fast. Some of the tools I mention are linked in the description using affiliate links, which help support the channel at no extra cost to you. This video is strictly for educational and informational purposes. All trademarks belong to their respective owners, and you should always follow manufacturer procedures and local regulations when working on vehicles. Now here's the big question I want you to think about as we go through this. Is SFD2 actually about protecting vehicles, or is it really about controlling who gets access to modern car software? Stick around until the end, because I'll answer that honestly based on workshop experience. Let's start with SFD1, which stands for Schutz Fahrzeug Diagnose. This was the first real security gateway introduced by the Volkswagen Audi Group around model year 2020. Before SFD, most control units could be accessed freely for coding, adaptations, and basic settings using aftermarket tools. SFD1 changed that. With SFD1, you can still read fault codes and live data, but advanced functions like coding, adaptations, calibrations, and basic settings are locked behind an online authentication process. SFD1 mainly appears on vehicles built on newer platforms like MQB Evo, MEB for electric vehicles, MLB Evo, and PPC. In most regions, SFD1 vehicles span roughly from model year 2020 through late 2023 or early 2024. Some cars even mix classic security and SFD in different control modules, which is why one module may allow coding while another refuses completely. In practical workshop terms, SFD1 is manageable. Once unlocked, you usually get temporary access for about 1 hour to 90 minutes, depending on the tool and server response. After that, the gateway locks again, and you must re-authenticate. Now let's go through the common VAG vehicles that use SFD1, rewritten clearly instead of table form. Volkswagen Golf 8 models built from 2020 to 2023 on the MQB Evo platform are protected by SFD1. The Volkswagen ID family, including the ID3 from 2019 onward, the ID4 from 2020, the ID5, ID6 mainly for China, and the ID Buzz up to 2023, all use SFD1 on the MEB electric platform. Volkswagen Arteon models from 2020 through 2023, Tiguan facelift models starting 2021, Multivan ST, Caddy SB, and similar MQB-based vehicles also fall into the SFD1 category. On the Audi side, the Audi A3 8Y from 2020 to 2023, the Audi Q3 F3, and the Audi Q4 e-tron all use SFD1. Skoda models, such as the Octavia 4th generation and the Enyaq iV electric SUV, are included as well. Seat and Cupra models like the Leon 4th generation, Formentor, and the Cupra Born electric vehicle also rely on SFD1 security. Even luxury brands were not excluded, with Bentley Bentayga facelift models adopting SFD1 during this period. Now, this is where things get serious. SFD2 is not just an update. It is a completely new level of control. SFD2 began appearing in early 2024 and is closely tied to global cybersecurity regulations, specifically UNIS Regulation 155 for cybersecurity and 156 for software updates. With SFD2, unlocking the gateway alone is no longer enough. Certain functions require cryptographically signed tokens that authorize specific changes, especially anything related to driver assistance systems, safety features, or software-defined vehicle behavior. In plain language, even if you unlock SFD2, the car still decides what you are allowed to change. Basic service functions like oil resets or brake service modes may still work, but deeper coding and retrofits can be blocked unless the change is digitally signed. In some vehicles, SFD1 and SFD2 exist together, often shown in diagnostic tools as SFD plus SFD2. Let's go through the known SFD2 vehicles as of late 2025. Audi models leading the transition include the Audi A1 from model year 2024 onward, the Audi A3 from model year 2025, and larger models like the A4, A5, A6, A7, and A8 starting model year 2024. Electro-performance models, such as the Audi e-tron GT and new platforms like the Audi Q6 e-tron, are fully SFD2. SUVs including the Q2, Q5, Q7, and Q8 facelift models also moved to SFD2. Volkswagen followed closely. The Golf 8 facelift from April 2024 onward uses SFD2. The ID3, ID4, and ID Buzz facelift models transitioned as well. The all-new Passat B9, Touareg facelift, and newer commercial vehicles like the Crafter and Caddy for model year 2025 are also included. Skoda Octavia facelift models and the Superb for model year 2024 adopted SFD2, along with Seat and Cupra Leon and Formina facelifts. Porsche joined the list with the Cayenne and Macan for model year 2024. Now let's talk tools, because this is where reality hits the workshop. Unlocking SFD1 or SFD2 is never permanent with aftermarket tools. Access is temporary, tied to a session or a vehicle identification number, and usually requires online authentication. For SFD1, many professional tools handle unlocking quite well. Auto tablets like the Maxim IM608 and MS Ultra support SFD1 unlock using annual subscriptions or per-vehicle tokens. Typically, the tool connects to the car, authenticates online, and unlocks protected modules for a limited time. Costs usually range from roughly $100 to $200 per year or individual token fees. Topped and Phoenix series tools also support SFD1 unlocking through in-app purchases, allowing direct unlocking without additional software. Launch X431 Pro and Pad series scanners offer similar functionality with active subscriptions. Zor's VVDI tools can handle SFD1 manually by reading seed data and generating unlock codes through supported services, although this process is more technical and not beginner-friendly. SFD2 is where limitations appear. Most aftermarket tools can unlock the gateway, but cannot perform restricted functions without cryptographic authorization. In many cases, Otis Online remains the only reliable way to fully work with SFD2 vehicles, especially for advanced coding, retrofits, or safety-related calibrations. And yes, sometimes it really does feel like the car knows more about cybersecurity than the person diagnosing it. So let's answer the big question from earlier. Is SFD2 about protection or control? The honest answer is both. From a manufacturer perspective, it protects vehicles from malicious software and unsafe modifications. From an independent workshop perspective, it clearly shifts power toward manufacturer-approved tools and processes. The skill now is not just diagnostics, but knowing what is realistically possible with the tools you have. My personal opinion is simple. SFD is not going away. The workshops that survive will be the ones that adapt, invest wisely in tools, and understand these systems instead of fighting them blindly. Here's a useful insight to leave you with. Even on SFD2 vehicles, understanding wiring, sensor logic, and mechanical fundamentals still matters. Security may block coding, but it cannot block proper diagnosis. If this video helped you understand VAG SFD1 and SFD2 clearly, drop your experience or questions in the comments. Let's aim for 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments if this content saved you time or money. Subscribe, share this with a fellow technician, and consider joining the channel membership to help Baabji Motors grow, reach #1, and continue delivering real workshop knowledge without compromise. Your engagement directly supports deeper testing, better tools, and more honest content. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep learning, keep adapting, and happy diagnosing.